several days. And the great catastrophe is that they probably drank too much wine. And they have about to run out of wine. Mary recognizes this. And in her intercession, she sees one thing, that this bride and this bridegroom are going to be totally embarrassed. They are going to be the laughing stock of Union County, because they are going to be the only couple in the history of the church that has a party that runs out of wine. And everybody's going to laugh at them. Their name is going to go down in infamy that these people did not have enough wine. Can't believe it. So Mary recognizes the fact that this couple, this newly wedded couple, is about to get started in their marriage on the wrong foot. So she takes it upon herself to intercede for them. She has no money because she can't go buy wine. She can't hop along down to the nearest liquor store and pick up a few more cases of wine and bring it back to the party. But there's somebody else there that can help her. And she knows who that somebody else is. And that person who's going to help her is Jesus. And she goes and she says to him, "Woman," she says to him, "Hey, they're about ready to run out of wine." And you know what he says to her? My favorite thing I say all the time. It's not my problem. She don't take that for an answer. It is your problem because I'm your mama, and it's my problem, and it's going to be yours, boy. That's what she says. It is your problem. And she walks away. She walks away. Saying to the waiters at the wedding, you do whatever he tells you. And here he's standing there with his mouth open, saying, it's not my time, it's not my hour, I don't want to do this, it's not time for me to be performing no big miracle right now, I'm here to have a good time, I'm not working, it's not my problem. And she just walks all the way. That's how my mama used to do that all the time. She'd say something and walk off, and like, damn, she did it to me again. I know your mamas never did that to your kids, you know. Or your mama never did that to you. Yeah, all mamas are like, I guess. And so that's what she did. She walked away. And we know the end of the story. She tells the waiters, do whatever he tells you. That's her sermon. That's her sermon. It's been her sermon all of her life. Do whatever God tells you to do. Period. That's her sermon. That's the way she lived her life. Do whatever he tells you to do. I want you to do what Jesus tells you to do. And Jesus told them to take the jars and fill them with water and take a dipper and give it to the waiter, and all this water became wine, and everybody went home happily ever after. The miracle was performed. The wedding couple, they had no clue what was going on. Mama is happy, and in my world, if Mama is happy, everybody's happy. Is that the way it is at your house? If Mama is happy, everybody's happy? If Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Go home and Mama is happy. There is wine. And Mary from the road. And she's quiet again. She's quiet for about 3 years. She never speaks. But she's always around. Because she continues to be his #1 disciple. She continues to be around. And we don't see her again until we see her in John's Gospel standing at the foot of the cross. She doesn't say anything. Her role at the foot of the cross is speechless. But she's there. She sees it all. She knows it all. She had no clue that when she said yes to the angel 33 years ago, that she would be standing at the foot of the cross watching her baby boy die. That wasn't in the picture. That wasn't a part of the game plan. She wasn't told what was going to happen to him. But she knew. She watched him suffer. She saw him bleed. And she witnessed his last breath. She was there, standing at the foot of the cross. And she heard a conversation from him, standing at the foot of the cross. Jesus looks to her and he says to her, "Woman, behold your son." That must have broken her heart. That must have broken her will. It would have if she hadn't had faith in God. If she hadn't trusted in God. That her son, who she knows now of how he came about, who she knows now is divine, who she knows now is God, gives her to a human being, to John. And he says to the Apostle John, "Behold your mother." Those words, those penetrating words, were the last words that Jesus ever spoke to her. Those were the last words that she ever heard him say. "Behold your son. Behold your mother." So she gives him. He gives her to us, to the church. And she has a role in the church. She has a role to be our number one fancy. Because when he gave her to John, he gives her to us as our mother. We call her the Blessed Mother. Because when he gave her to John, he gave her to us. To be, and she does for us what she did for the couple at Cana. She's constantly praying for us, interceding for us. Not only for that infant church, but for the church of today. That church that still lives and breathes and needs and sins. That church that still needs a Blessed Mother to intercede for her. Last week, we talked about the infallibility of the Holy Father, and that there was only twice in the history of the church that the Pope has spoken infallible, and both of these times deal with Mary. On December the 8th, 1854, Pope Pius IX declared infallible what the church has taught for centuries, just to make it a part of doctrine, that at the moment of her conception, that Mary was born free of original sin and remained free of sin for the rest of her life. Why? Because she becomes the pattern. God will reside in her, and God doesn't reside next to sin. So with her, she becomes immaculate. She becomes that deposit of faith to which God will take up residence in the pregnancy of Jesus. Her whole being would radiate to that. Our nation has been tutelaged under the patronage of Our Lady of the Immaculate Conception. The feast day is December the 8th. And on that day, the Church of the United States